Whether you're a beginner or a pro, the best mirrorless cameras have the features and performance to take your photography to the next level. We've put together this guide to help you find the right mirrorless camera at the right price. Now that's all taken care of, let's get to the best mirrorless cameras you can buy right now. Our recommendation number 1 is Sony 7R for full-frame mirrorless camera. The Sony a7 IV is a truly modern hybrid camera. It's overkill for beginners and more expensive than its stills-focused competition, but it's also a versatile workhorse for anyone who wants to shoot a mixture of photos and video. A price bump means it no longer occupies the same entry-level price bracket as its popular predecessor, but upgrades like 10-bit video and a Beyond's XR processor make it a much more powerful option. In our tests, we found the a7 IV to have class-leading autofocus skills, plus a seemingly endless buffer depth, which means the camera can almost indefinitely maintain its maximum burst speeds without any slowdown. When using a CF Express card, it swallowed 9 frames per second for over a minute, or 6-7 frames per second when continuously shooting RAW. The a7 IV's new 33MP full-frame sensor doesn't dramatically improve image quality over the a7 III. The higher resolution also means fairly prevalent noise above ISO 6400, and there's a heavy crop on 4K footage. But as a complete package, the Sony a7 IV is a solid all-rounder, which could be the only mirrorless camera you'll ever need. Our recommendation number 2 is Sony Alpha 1 full-frame mirrorless camera. The Sony A1 is everything that Sony says it is. It's a technological triumph, a camera that really can do everything. Previously, cameras might offer speed, resolution, or video capability, but the A1 offers all three, and even beats dedicated sports and video cameras at their own game. So is this the perfect camera? Not quite. The price is, and will remain, a major obstacle, and its appeal is limited to photographers who need everything it does, not just one or two of those things. The Sony A1 has a list of features that would read like those of a fantasy camera if it hadn't actually happened. It's not the first full-frame mirrorless camera to shoot 8K video. It's not the first to offer 50MP resolution, and it's not the first to offer high-speed burst modes, but it's the first to do all of these things. We're used to professional cameras with outlandish specifications, but usually they specialize in specific areas at the expense of others, for example sacrificing resolution for burst speeds or video features. The Sony A1 makes no such compromises. It's actually better than the video-centric Sony a7S III for video, better than the sports-orientated Sony A9 II for sports, and only a whisker behind the Sony a7R IV for resolution. However, good as it is, the price is and will remain a major obstacle, and its appeal is limited to photographers who need everything it does, not just one or two of those things. Our recommendation number 3 is Nikon Z9 FX format mirrorless camera. Nikon might have been late to the game in launching its professional, top-spec mirrorless, but the Nikon Z9 was definitely worth the wait. It's an absolute beast of a camera when it comes to video, knocking the Canon EOS R3 out of the park. It's capable of 8K 60p video recording or 8K 30p with an enormous 2-hour record limit. Nikon decided to remove the mechanical shutter completely, which means the Z9 is capable of 120 frames per second continuous shooting and has a max shutter speed of 1:32,000, which makes it perfect for sport and bird photography. The Z9 is powered by Deep Learning AF, which makes the camera capable of 9 kinds of recognition: human eyes, faces, heads, and upper-bodied, animal eyes, heads, and bodies, and cars, planes, trains, and motorbikes. It has the same 493 AF points as the Nikon Z7 II, which seems impressive until you find out that the Canon EOS R3 has a whopping 4,779 AF points. The Z9 comes in quite a bit cheaper than both the Sony A1 and the Canon EOS R3, and it has a lot of advanced features. Our recommendation number 4 is Fujifilm X-T for mirrorless camera. Looking for a mirrorless camera that's equally comfortable shooting stills and 4K video? Few cameras do it better than the Fujifilm X-T4, which is both smaller and more affordable than its full-frame rivals. The best APS-C camera so far, our tests found that it serves up a compelling blend of great build quality, class-leading image quality and a fun shooting experience. However, it's worth noting that the Fujifilm X-T5 is now available and promises to raise the bar even higher. We're still completing our testing of that new camera, but the early evidence is that its new 40MP sensor will make it a serious contender in this space. We also remain fans of the Fujifilm X-T3, which is still on sale and worth considering if you mainly shoot stills. The X-T4 took the series to new heights thanks to the inclusion of in-body image stabilization, IBIS, a new battery, and a new, quieter shutter. During our shoots, these created an enjoyable shooting experience and produced results that trump the X-T4's rivals for low-light performance and resolved detail. We'd have liked a slightly deeper grip, and the IBIS system isn't quite up to Olympus standards, but it's a big bonus for both shooting both stills and video, and tops off a fine all-rounder that now has an excellent range of lenses. Our recommendation number 5 is Canon EOS M50 Mark II mirrorless camera. Canon's EOS M50 Mark II is a confusing little camera. While it is feature-packed, it's only a very minor update on the first EOS M50 camera. Other than the addition of IAF and the ability to shoot vertical video, there's not really a whole lot different between the two versions. So while we wouldn't recommend owners of the EOS M50 to upgrade to the newer model, it's great for those just starting out on their photography and content creation journeys. The Canon EOS M50 Mark II is a puzzling one. It's a feature-rich camera by itself, but most of those specs are already available on the original EOS M50, with only a few added benefits to indicate it's an updated model. The M50 Mark II is identical to its predecessor, both internally and externally. What's new is all software-based and could be of great significance to up-and-coming content creators. There's the added benefit of iDetect autofocus for both stills and video, and the ability to shoot vertical videos for social media platforms. For those interested in just stills photography, the M52 performs exactly the same as the older M50. It produces very good results, offers the same, and rather respectable 10 frames per second burst speed, with good dynamic range and decent noise performance. So if you already own the EOS M50 and are a photographer, it's hard to recommend the Mark II, but for videographers, specifically content creators, who don't need fancy specs, this is among both the best Canon cameras and the best beginner mirrorless cameras to consider, and at its current price point, also one of the best cheap cameras, as well as one of the best travel cameras.